So the Lord teaches the apostles or the disciples the Our Father, the Lord's Prayer today, and it's Luke's version. Might sound a little different. Normally, we pray, when we pray at Mass, we pray Matthew's version, and there's some slight differences there that highlight the meaning of what we're praying for, what Jesus is teaching us to pray for. And we pray the Our Father so much that I think we can tend to kind of lose our thoughts and take for granted what we're saying. And so from time to time, it's good to just go and slow down and even think about or see what we're actually asking for, what Jesus is teaching us to ask for. And I just want to focus on kind of a controversial, seems to be a question, at least a couple years ago. I remember when Pope Francis was going through the Our Father and teaching on it, he got to the part where it says, "And lead us not into temptation, but deliver us from evil." And he suggested that we should change that translation, because when we think of temptation, we think of the definition of temptation along the lines of being enticed to sin or be enticed to do evil. And so it sounds like we're asking God to do something or not do something that he normally does, which he doesn't do. He doesn't entice us to evil. God doesn't do that. And St. James talks about that. He says in his first letter, he says in James 1, he says, God himself is never enticed by evil or sin. And God does not tempt anyone. He does not entice anyone to evil. And so, what does it mean? What are we actually asking about? It goes to the definition of temptation. The Catechism says this about this phrase and this word, that it's difficult to translate the Greek verb into a single English word like temptation. And it means, the Greek word that's translated, it also means, along with it being enticed to evil, it also means a trial or a test. And so, in fact, we hear that in the gospel today, Luke's version. It says, "Subject us not to the test," or to the final test. And so we're meant to think of something like a test, like we're given from a teacher. So a teacher, although a teacher gives us a test in order to strengthen us, in order for us to learn the material and to strengthen our understanding and master the material that we're trying to master. Although sometimes I wondered about that in the seminary, because I worked really hard and I still got a lot wrong. So it's to help us and not to punish us. That's the trial, or what the test is for. And to help us to succeed. So when we apply that to our faith, when we have tests or trials, it's not, first of all, it's not punishment from God. We can tend to think that when we're going through trials or tests in our lives, that God is punishing us, but he allows it to happen so that we can be strengthened. So we can be strengthened in our faith, so we can be strengthened to love God better and to love our neighbor better, essentially. But yet, it's precisely in those trials, it's precisely in those times of testing, when our faith is tested, that we are enticed to evil. And this is the insidiousness of the devil and the demons, that he can't meet us when we're strong. He comes to us a lot of times when we're weak and we're being tried and we're being tested. So it's precisely in those times that we're tempted, we're enticed to do evil. And so I think from considering this, first of all, is to consider that a trial is not, and the trials that we go through, and the final trial that St. Luke talks about, it's not God punishing us, but He's allowing it so that we can grow stronger. And we're asking God in this petition to essentially have mercy on us, for God's mercy, and that we can avoid and we can turn away from that enticement to evil, and that we will be strengthened through that trial that we're undergoing.